What is up, guys? Dark Illusionist here, and today I will be bringing you a video that is very different from what I would normally make, but it is important in my eyes, and I want to get as much attention to this as possible. I'm sure you can see the dog and a hashtag save Bruno on the left. So, who is Bruno? Bruno is a Great Dane cross, a 13-month-old puppy who has been fostered by his devoted foster carer Melissa and her family since the 6th of December 2019. Melissa is a seasoned carer and has successfully fostered a number of challenging Great Danes over the last few years. In this case, Bruno is another that had been mistreated by original owners during the first year of his life and was quite underweight. Bruno has had some issues. He wasn't toilet trained and has chewed and eaten things he shouldn't have. Although, isn't that typical of a puppy? Bruno has also been scared of many things, but despite this, his carers have been persevering with this beautiful and loving boy, and they are proud to say that since arriving into their home, Bruno has gained weight and has slowly but steadily been becoming less fearful and anxious. Bruno loves playing, especially with his foster sister Zelda, also a Great Dane, who is showing him the ropes. Based on everything they've observed, Bruno's carers have every reason to believe he will continue to flourish and gain confidence, getting the second chance he deserves to find a forever family that loves and cares for him as much as they should. Bruno was prescribed anti-anxiety as well as anti-inflammatory medication because his hip is a bit stiff, which Melissa and her family have paid for to help the rescue. It is commonly known that dogs can take time to decompress in care once being rescued, a fact that Bruno's carer knows and is committed to, especially as he is showing such positive progress and integrating well into their household. Despite his mistreatment as a young pup, Bruno has been a forgiving and loving dog that has learned to adjust and enjoy what normal life should be for any dog. He is going through regular puppy stages and doing well for a puppy that's never received any training before. His carers have never seen him bite to harm anyone, human or animal, and Bruno has only been with him since being surrendered to the rescue. In fact, there was only one occasion where he was startled, and that was when Melissa walked into the house to greet him, wearing full motorcycle protective gear, helmet and all. As the vet behaviourist stated, it was no surprise this made him uncomfortable, as he couldn't have recognised it was Melissa under all that equipment. He got a little frightened, gave her a little nip. However, Melissa was not fazed and was unscathed. Bruno got a fright, simple as that. However, it would appear Bruno has been sentenced to death without a crime or trial. Allegedly, Bruno's been sentenced to death without crime or trial. As despite all the things going on for Bruno, out of the blue, the rescue that Melissa fosters called on the Australia Day long weekend and said that their committee had decided in a recent meeting that Bruno was unrehomable. The rescue went on to explain that this decision means they intended to collect him and have him put to sleep or euthanized. This news came as a great shock to Melissa, especially as no issues to justify an extreme action had occurred since Bruno had arrived into care. And prior to them stating this, no other issues were known to have occurred either. In arriving to this decision that Bruno is, and I quote, unrehomable, it should be stated that, and now this is all alleged, I'm just taking it from everything I've been following. I am not saying this is fact. You guys can go check this out for yourself. Just putting that out there so I am not liable for slander or anything else. Now that we've got that out of the way, allegedly no representative from the rescue has ever visited, interacted or assessed Bruno since his day of surrender 2 months ago when he was delivered into Melissa's care. Now that first off does seem interesting, I'll admit. No trainers or other qualified animal behaviourists have assessed Bruno other than the one particular vet assessing his anxiety and hips on one occasion without incident and despite the pain caused by the the medications, I'm assuming. Oh no, by the manipulations, the same vet that described. I don't know what that's supposed to be. No complaints have been received for any concerning behaviour to any governing or council bodies. No general vet health check has been conducted on Bruno. In fact, Bruno is by all accounts doing well and adjusting to his new home, other than being the innocent victim of an incomprehensible decision about his right to live. All the while still waiting for the rescue to authorise my brain is dying here. To authorise general pathology tests and other vet treatment as recommended by his veterinarian 2 weeks ago to improve his overall health and well-being. Melissa and her family have fallen in love with Bruno. They set out to foster to save a life, not to participate in destroying one, especially one of a puppy. Don't mind that, I sent my phone flying. Especially a puppy that is barely a year old. Having Bruno so unjustly euthanized when their loving family, the people who have gotten to know Bruno better than anyone, have and continue to be ready and willing to put the time and effort into him is unfathomable. Melissa and her family had a discussion and decided they couldn't imagine life without him, including as a permanent part of their family. So they advised the rescue that they wanted to formally adopt him. And yet, unexpectedly, the rescue has rejected Melissa's request to adopt and assume all his costs associated with Bruno's ongoing healthcare, continued rehabilitation. As of last contact, the rescue has indicated their intention to collect and euthanize Bruno regardless of having an experienced carer ready to give him his forever home with everything he needs. Disturbingly, the representative calling Melissa to deliver the shocking news advised her that the rescue had already sent 3 of her own foster dogs to be euthanized, and they would be moving forward with Bruno's fate regardless of having an experienced and capable family ready to adopt him. Now, look, this is all alleged. I'm taking it at face value, but I don't see any reason not to. In this case, the reason they decided to euthanize him was because they decided he was rehomeable, did they not? Yeah. Was that he was unrehomeable, but by Melissa and her family having put up their hands to adopt him permanently, is that not then null and void? Because they have nullified that point, or that because they were willing to do it and they are already aware of the issues that Bruno has going on. And I mean, look at that loving dog there. Does that look like a dog that wants to cause any problems? I think not. However, where was I up to? I'm trying to remember. Melissa and her family have been left stunned by a situation that makes no sense and is hard to fathom. They are obtaining immediate legal advice and will fight to prevent Bruno being killed so senselessly. They are hopeful that the rescue involved will reconsider their position and come to an agreement promptly so Melissa and Bruno can remain together for the rest of their lives, living out their days with lots more bedtime snuggles and slobbery kisses. It is for this reason it is felt unnecessary to publish the name of the rescue at this time, to instead foster an outcome that avoids further adversity for all involved and that allows common sense and logic to prevail. And I agree with that statement right there. And that's the reason I am leaving the name out too, because I've done my research into this. I've seen it, but I do not want to create any issues in this in itself. All I want to do is bring this story to more people. What's it called? I will leave a link to the Saving Bruno page. Alright, so my thoughts on this is I don't see the problem here. From what's been said, he's a really great and loving dog, and their one argument is that he's unrehomable. But if that's the case, then yeah, I don't get it, because Melissa and her family, the people who are fostering him, have willingly put up their hand to take him on. Does that not mean he's rehomable? It does to me. But I am now going to bring in a guest, and you will have seen him around the channel. He goes by Z the Fiend on YouTube. Check him out if you feel the need to. I want to get his opinion and on all this situation, so we will be right back. Welcome, Z. How are you going? I'm assuming you're up to date with the link I sent you to fill you in before I just dropped you on here?
Yeah, I have. I've read through it all, and
what's your take on it?
I'm a bit conflicted with the fact that how can this be acceptable? Seriously, if the fact is that he's been put up for adoption, wouldn't the first priority, this is just to start it all off, wouldn't the first priority be to, if he's got a home, give him the, recommended time to, settle in and everything?
Yeah, he's come from an abusive household previously, so you want to give him time to settle into the foster home and get used to it before, and give him time to adjust to everything, and so you can see these improvements in his behaviour. That's just,
exactly. You can't just throw him in and say, oh, we'll test him for 1 week, and 1 week happens to be a bad week for him because he's still adjusting to the environment. And he goes completely fucking bonkers and, I don't know, digs a hole and escapes from a yard. You can't... Yeah,
you can't just justify that as being, oh, no, and I agree with you. And the fact is, too, they're saying he's unrehomable. That's their grounds for wanting to get him euthanized and everything else. But Melissa and her foster family have put up their hands to adopt him to save his life. Does that not does that not take away, or does that not prove that he is rehomable?
Yeah, it hurts me to see this, because I've seen many stories and heard many stories of dogs. It's one offense, and in this case,
a trivial one at that.
Yeah, what could you say? If it's like a person walking down the road with a dog. Now, it's not. If you walk down the road and you haven't got your dog on a lead, you are responsible for that dog. Yeah, if someone who's got their dog on a lead,
get your view on this. I think I got the perfect metaphor to show things here. For example, in the past, you know me, I'm a pretty patient guy. I'm not someone who really loses their temper easily. I may get a little bit snooty at times, but can't we all? However,
yeah.
And by no means am I a violent person. I don't agree with violence for my own reasons. But if you were to, let's say, we were hanging out one day, I had you around at mine, or vice versa, and you snuck up on me and scared me, my natural reflex would probably be to swing, because I'm trying to, protect myself.
Mm.
Does that not seem fair to you? Whether or not I make contact, or whether it does damage, is that relevant? I don't think so, because it's an uncontrollable reflex action. And from what I've read of this story, is it really any different? He didn't recognise Melissa due to, being in full motorbike gear, which makes sense. And as a dog who's come from an abused home, it would have given him a fright. But even further beyond that, look at what dogs do. They are protective of the people they care about. For example, you have a dog, a beautiful German Shepherd, don't you?
Yeah.
If she didn't recognise you and just randomly you were in a house, and let's put the example to that you're in full motorbike gear, so she didn't recognise you, would she not freak out and try to, or do what she thinks is right and be focused on trying to protect everyone from this weird stranger that's just in the house.
Yes, I would be like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's why when we introduce new people to the house, we make it very apparent and clear to our pet dog that this is a friend, it's all right, they're good to be in the yard, they're a friend, we know them, When even they come in the yard, we go, it's all right, it's just, such and such. Oh, it's just, and then she calms down.
Yeah, and the reason you do that is because in a dog's nature, it is to protect their pack, which they see us as their pack, and they will defend us. And in our eyes, it's the way they're being trained for generations through domestication. They have been trained to take on that role, so it is just following its natural instincts and the inherited memories from. I'm not going to touch too much into it. That's a topic for another day. But it's just doing what dogs have been trained to do from generation to generation. It's doing its job and what it deems as the right thing to do. Simple as that. And did it. And it wasn't a serious thing. I mean, if it was a serious thing, not a nip, it would have been, blatantly stated. I mean, Melissa wouldn't have gotten away. Is relatively unscathed and unfazed as she was. But now that we've all put that out in the open, let's hear your complete twist on things, how you see things.
Well, I would see as repeated offence. In this circumstance, I'm fully, and don't take this the wrong way to anyone who listens to this and hears this, but I find it quite disturbing and uncomforting and unconfident in the world if we judge everyone on the same way as we're treating dogs. Why do us people get second, third chances when a dog bites a kid or bites anyone once and they're automatically sentenced to death?
Yeah.
Because this animal has to be destroyed. It's what? How? You don't know the circumstances. You don't know
exactly.
if
and we
they
don't
come from a
most
home.
of the world doesn't even use the death penalty for serious crimes as it is, because, and so that raises the question: how little is a dog's life worth that something like this something this trivial is enough to have it or end that beautiful creature's life? Could you imagine
Exactly.
if we acted the same way with humans? You get in one fight at school. Oh no, that's it. No more chances. You're sentenced to death. The world, I don't know what to say. Like 99% of the population would be gone.
Exactly.
So, at what point do we question? Dogs are known as man's best friend. We treat them like a part of the family. We call them our fur babies and things like that. Does that not mean they are as much a part of the family as, say, if I had a brother? Or are they any less than my brother? Or would they be any less family member than my brother? No.
No, like.
And so, yeah, how little is an animal's life worth that we are willing to let this slide over something that's trivial? And even the behavioural therapist vet said, yeah, it's understandable why it freaked him out.
Yeah, and from what I've read, clearly there hasn't been much information given on Bruno's situation from his past home.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been detailed. What if poor Bruno was beaten and, what if his the abuser was a bike rider, and
Yeah, well,
he was
that's
constantly
exactly
dressed
it.
up. And all Bruno saw was, oh, that's, holy crap, it's him again. What do I do? This
Yeah,
isn't his
is that
home.
not is that not the same as any form of PTSD triggered by or being put in the same abusive situation time and time again by another person? You would have the
Yeah,
exact same response whether or not it's the same person. If your mind were to make that connection, then you're going to go into fight or flight mode whether you want to or not. It is out of your control at that
exactly.
point. I mean, if we need an example of how the brain works with psychology, let's look at Pavlov's bell experiment. He taught, he made, he kept, every time he wanted or he went to feed his dog, as he'd do it, he'd ring a bell. And eventually, the dog associated the bell with food, and so he could ring the bell without any food or anything being present, and the dog's mouth would start salivating. Is that not a prime example that repetitive behavior or repetitive things can be linked to, or that certain or sounds, sights, and memories can trigger to one specific thing?
Exactly.
I wasn't doing a good job of explaining it, but I'm just
But
speaking my mind from without any script written down. But I feel it's a relevant point to look at. And look, clearly we don't know the backstory there. We don't know what it is. But from what's being said, there have been no issues in the past. So they're just looking down on this beautiful dog as something that, oh, we think it's going to be too much effort. If we euthanize them, it's out of our hands, and it's sad that that's the way it feels to me, but that's the way this whole situation comes across at me. Or do I want to look at it from the point that it could be a matter of them just trying to save face, because they wouldn't want anyone knowing this dog or that the dog came from them if it had never happened in the future. That's the thing we got to question. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of my little rant there.
And from my point of view, how can they justify, okay, on the subject of the adoption. Now, he was given to them as a temporary home till they found him a suitable home or a forever home.
Yeah.
Now,
that Melissa and her family, the people who are fostering him, have put up their hand to be that forever home because they absolutely adore him, and they refused it, which is strange, isn't it? Because it's obviously a good enough house environment for him to foster him, so they have no reason for it to not, or to see it as not a house that will absolutely love him the same way they do his foster sister Zelda, whose feet you can see in the background, but I'm going to put in a picture of them cuddling in post anyway. And so do they, and so yeah, why can he not just go to that, or why would they refuse it? Because it seems that by that course of action alone, they are going against the fact they're supposed to, or what they're supposed to be about. They're supposed to be a rescue agency that's about finding a dog its forever home.
Exactly. And it should, and I'm not trying to be derogatory towards Melissa and her family, because they seem like upright, kind and caring people who are just wanting to spare this poor dog's life over something stupid. But
yeah, I would have to agree with I'd have to agree with you there. They seem like lovely people with their only goal in mind being to save this beautiful Dane's life. They're going through all of this effort and fighting this fight, not to cause him any harm, but to try to save his life and give him that forever home. Is that not... well, you can hear in my voice I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
Is that not proof of character in itself?
Yes, and it would give the the, the Saving a Dane institute a huge fucking notch in their, mind my language, but a huge notch in their belt that, you know, hey, yeah, sure, he's from a battered, he's from a place where
Also,
he was
I
regularly
just
beaten
want
and
to point out
abused.
what's it called, that the Saving a Dane is the Facebook page for it, and which is good because it means I don't have to edit out a bit because I'm trying to leave out the rescue that this is from because I don't want to create things harder for or Bruno and his foster family to get through this. I just want to get more media or get more attention to this because I mean it's something that I don't agree with. I think it's wrong that they're willing to go down it or that they've been going down the route they have, and as such, I'm just going to leave out their name. One, it saves me from getting into any trouble for slander or defamation and that sort of thing. But two, I do not want to risk creating any extra issues for their family and themselves. Who are trying to save him? But anyway, continue.
And I mean, if they their whole standpoint is to rescue the poor dog, so let's find him a home. All right, we couldn't find him a home. We couldn't find him a home. Now we found him a home. Why do we care so much? Like, he's got a home now. Clearly Melissa and her family are willing to put their time and effort into Bruno to make him feel at home and rehabilitate him from his trauma. Make him make him trust people again, and just enjoy the life that he has left. Not, it's unfortunate that it was a complete accident, a misidentification at the time, but
that's all irrelevant at this point because
it's not like Melissa is in hospital with serious injuries.
yes, she was
chunks of flesh missing.
unscathed and unfazed by it.
And,
it was just a misunderstanding, just as much as if, what's it called? Let's say I gave you a key to my place, said you're always welcome if you ever need somewhere to, say something happens at yours and you ever need somewhere to stay temporarily. Imagine I get up in the middle of the night and I just see you or the shadow letting themselves in. Let's say I'm getting up to go to the toilet. Holy crap, it would catch me off guard and I don't know how I'd react. So, dogs, don't get me wrong, they're intelligent creatures, but they are much more primal too than we are. They have far more primal instincts than we do. So,
exactly.
It is not, in my eyes, it is not strange at all that this happened.
Exactly. And, if you've got, that's like you were saying, if you were to give me a key and I was just to rock up because I had something go on at home or I needed a place to crash for a couple of days, and you get up through the night and you see just some stranger walking into your house, I'm pretty sure your first instinct was, I'm not going to let him take anything or let him hurt me or whoever else is in the house. Your first instinct is going to be pin him to the ground. Now, at that very time, yes, it's miscommunication, misidentification, because it's dark. You can't see in the dark. No human being can really see in the dark without assistance. So, if you get me to the floor and I say, no, hey, mate, it's me. And you go, oh, I'm so sorry. No hard feelings, mate. I can understand it's dark. You can't see very well. It's all right.
That's exactly it. And that's what it was in this case. It was misidentification, communication isn't as relevant, but it's misidentification. There was no way he could have made the link with all of that gear that Melissa was wearing, that was her. And it just caught him off guard, and he was like, oh shit, hello there. It gave me a fucking fright. Please don't do that again. We cool?
Yeah.
And it's no different to the situation you brought up.
Exactly. So, why is one offence immediately a knee-jerk reaction to euthanize or pretty much get rid of the poor thing? It was one incident.
Exactly.
Now, if it's a repeated incident, then, and clearly you can see that either one, the owners have refused to try and solve it, or two, the dog's behaviour isn't getting better as the owners are trying, then maybe there is, instead of having another knee-jerk reaction and going, oh, 2 strikes, we need to destroy it or put it down, kind of go, right, maybe we need to approach
what other
this.
angle could we come at to maybe fix this and help the dog improve?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what other approach can we take to possibly fix this? Instead of going, oh, it's, this dog bit someone or nipped someone, well, you need to kind of take a step back and view the entire picture and go, all right,
Exactly.
what happened for this to happen? Okay, let's use this scenario at this moment. A 4-year-old boy gets nipped on the hand by a dog. Now, this dog has repeated
history with incidents.
Repeated history of being, like, there hasn't been any history of aggression apart from defending his family. He's never bitten, never mauled someone, never done this, never done that. But then all of a sudden, this 4-year-old gets a nip on the hand, and it's like, well, what happened? Did the kid step on him by accident, and it pinched a nerve or something, and the dog's knee-jerk reaction is to snap at what it is, and it happened to catch him? Or was it that, it's that kind of thing. You can't just say, oh, the dog did it without no reason. No, there's always got to be a reason behind something. Unless there is definitive proof that this person, nothing happened or provoked the dog to do this, then it can be then looked at that way. But, I have 2 younger brothers, and I used to have a beautiful, beautiful German Shepherd, because since I've been little, my family has been German Shepherd orientated with dogs that we have.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was very little, I had 2 beautiful German Shepherds. They were both very long-haired, big German Shepherds. One of them was very, very protective of me when I was little, and the other one was kind of, silly and, kind of laid back and everything. The only reason why the female was very protective of me is she would never let him near me. She would never let him near my cot while I was sleeping, and that, but I'm going on a tangent. But my youngest brother, he was learning to walk, so as a baby, they cling to things to stand and, walk. So he was using him as a way of walking and, balancing himself. And just this one day he was climbing over him, and he, kneed him or stepped on a piece of skin and pinched it, and my beautiful German Shepherd just it looked like he was going to bark at him, and then turned away and kind of yapped in the opposite direction away from him, as if to say, hey, this kid is hurting me, come get him quickly.
Yeah.
But he never He was never a vicious dog. He never bit one of us. Never, ever was, aggressive or anything. He was very beautiful. And, it's down to the fact is how how their owners raised them. So
That's
in this
exactly
case,
it.
in this case, Melissa and her family can't be blamed, and neither can Bruno, because Bruno's from a neglected home, a home where he was abused and neglected, and it was sad to hear that. So. Yeah. Why do society and why do our first reaction to this certain case is the fact that it was a nip?
Yeah.
It's not like the dog continued to attack Melissa and that. It was a nip.
Exactly.
That was it.
So, in the final summation, because I'm running out of time here, I still have one more person I want to bring into this a bit later. Yeah. Do you think it's right, the rescue company fighting against them, to not let them adopt them and instead take the route to euthanize them?
I am against the fact that that they are trying to euthanize poor Bruno after one offence, and the fact that they've found a place for him to stay forever. He's got an adopted family. Why can't they just let him stay there?
I think that's the question. I think that's the question we're all asking.
Why are they going down this route? Why do they have to put this poor, beautiful dog down?
Exactly.
For one offence.
Exactly. Thank you so much for coming on here, Z. I have to wrap this up because I still got one more person to get their view on things, because they have a lot of experience with dogs that are good at training. I've seen them train some really good, well-behaved collies. But yeah, thanks for coming on here. Thank you for sharing your honest opinion. Enjoy the rest of your day and look forward to recording with you again soon.
Yes, and look forward to recording with you again at some point.
Take care of yourself, Z.
I will.
So, quick update, guys. I'm not really going to have time to invite the other guest in here that I wanted to, so yeah, I suppose please share this around. Let's try to get as many people aware as we can, and thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd help me out a lot. Till next time, take care.